Welcome to the Sparking Interactions webinar. My name is Michelle Long. I'm a Program Quality Assessor with the Pennsylvania Key. In this session, participants will be able to identify powerful questions, describe the elements required to spark a conversation, formulate questions based on children's development and Bloom's taxonomy. How powerful are your questions? Questions can be powerful tools. The type of questions you use will determine the richness of the conversation. If I were to ask you questions such as, do you have a pet? Or, do you like lima beans? You would most likely answer with a simple yes or no response. But what do we gain from these types of questions? We would have learned that some of you have pets and some of you don't. But we would not learn any additional information such as how many pets you have, the type of pet you have, or why you do not have a pet. We would have learned that some of you like lima beans and some of you don't. But we would not learn the reason why you do or do not like lima beans. If I were to ask, what color is the question mark on the slide? You would most likely answer red. But what do we gain by asking these rote or obviously single question, single response questions? We learn that you can recite back or recall information where there is only one correct answer. We may have learned that you're not familiar with your colors, or that there may be an issue with color blindness. But we didn't learn anything about your favorite color or why it is your favorite. You may have heard the saying that it only takes a spark to get a fire going. Well, not every spark automatically becomes a bonfire. There are certain elements that need to be in place to help that spark grow. The spark needs oxygen. You may need to blow on the spark or sit back a moment and let it breathe. Sparks need fuel. If you put damp leaves on the spark, it will smother the flame. But if you add dry leaves or pine needles, they will catch the spark. Sparks need time. It takes time and patience for the tiny spark to catch on the fuel and build and grow. Sparks need the right environment. Trying to light a fire in a rainstorm or windstorm would be much more difficult than lighting one on a calm day. The right environment includes the right combination of oxygen, fuel, and time. So what does this have to do with interactions? In the Leadership and Learning blog article, Turning Creative Sparks into an Innovative Fire, Kevin Eikenberry discusses how creative sparks of ideas or conversations often fizzle and die. He talks about ideas being fragile and how they require nurturing and care to develop and begin the changing process of turning that spark into a flame. In your daily interactions with children, you often toss out sparks or ideas with those less than powerful questions we started this session with. To make those questions more powerful, you want to treat them like a spark that you want to turn into a flame or a bonfire. For oxygen, are you allowing time for the idea, thought, or question to breathe? For fuel, are you offering a concept that is meaningful to catch and grow the spark? For time, are you offering patience for the answer to develop? And for environment, are you asking in the right environment? Is the child ready to have a conversation about their play? Or will your question interrupt their play? Are you offering the right combination of oxygen, fuel, and time? If you're looking to have deep thinking, rich conversations, you're going to want to add a spark to the conversation by asking big questions that meet the children at their individual developmental level. In the NACI book, Big Questions for Young Minds, Extending Children's Thinking, Bresson and Strausser shared that you need to plan your questions based on the child's development. So do they have the language or vocabulary to answer the question? Don't be afraid to add new words. Think about what other words could you use for spin? Maybe things like twirl or revolve, whirl, pivot, pirouette. How about alternatives for rain, precipitation, drizzle, sprinkle, downpour? Spark creativity and observation by starting your questions with, I wonder. I wonder what would happen if. I wonder why. Think about the child's knowledge on the subject. Do they have something they can relate to the new knowledge to? Such as, a dog has 4 legs and a tail. Can you think of any other animals with 4 legs and a tail? And you could also use a KWL chart to find out what they already know. Allow wait time for them to process what you're asking. Think about it and answer. I like to silently count to 10 to ensure I'm giving ample time for the child to process the question. Another question is to make or comment after they have answered. Things such as, what else? Tell me more. This helps promote that back and forth exchange of an in-depth conversation or a feedback loop. And show the child that you are interested and listening. Make eye contact with the child. Paraphrase what they say for clarification. To view a sample of big questions in action, you may want to view the video listed on the slide. During your viewing, listen for questions such as, I wonder, how do you, how can we, how will. In the NACCE Higher Order Thinking Creativity Learning Module, based on the NACCE book Big Questions for Young Minds, Extending Children's Thinking, Bloom's taxonomy was suggested as a tool for teachers to use to generate higher order thinking questions. In order for children to be able to use their higher order thinking skills, they need to start with a system of basic facts and information. Using Bloom's taxonomy can help you formulate your questions into classified segments of information and knowledge. It can help you meet the children where they are in their development and understanding on a subject matter and carry them into higher order thinking skills. The lower levels of the taxonomy help you learn where the children are in their prior knowledge of the subject, while the higher levels support the teacher in formulating thoughtful questions that scaffold and extend the learning, as well as encourage critical thinking skills. We're going to run through the taxonomy using art or painting as the topic for the questions. The lowest level of the taxonomy is remember. This is recalling facts or information to identify, name, count, repeat, recall. For art, this could be as simple as asking, what colors are you using to paint? Understand or show comprehension, to describe, discuss, explain, summarize. You could ask, how would these colors mix together? Apply is inferring or applying information from one situation to another. To explain why, dramatize, identify with, or relate to. You could ask, show me how this color makes you feel when you see it. Analyze is breaking down parts from the whole or understanding the relationship of parts. To recognize change, experiment, infer, compare, and contrast. A sample question here could be, What can you tell me about how you are creating your painting? Evaluate is putting together parts to make meaning, to express opinion, judge, defend, and or criticize. Asking things such as, what were you thinking about when you chose these colors and made this design? Create is to bring something into existence, to make, to construct, to design, to author. Asking, what story would you like to tell me about your painting? Add some spark to your classroom conversations. Create a list of questions you want to use to spark conversations in your classroom. Start with this list and expand as the asking becomes a comfortable part of your daily interactions. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video on sparking interactions, and thank you for all you do every day.